So is Kirby Smart getting just a little bit crabby about his defense? Let me read you what he said yesterday. There wasn't a lot of difference in the defense from this scrimmage to last. I certainly am concerned about complacency there and making sure they are competing and staying on top of things because they have a chance to be a talented group. Dean Legge from Dog Post making you a smarter Georgia fan. Yes, they do. They very well are coming into this season as probably the best defense in college football. Ohio State's not around. Clemson lost a couple guys. And probably this Georgia defense was a little bit better than both of them anyway coming into the year. But what Kirby's worried about here is when you look at the pantheon of kids and players that are on this Georgia team, you can't have the second team offense with Carson Beck whipping your ass. And that's what happened at one point. Here's what Kirby said. The number one defense dominated the twos for the most part. They went out and stoned them a couple 3-and-outs. They didn't give up a first down. Then the two offense got a little drive going and went down and made some plays, which I was very excited about. The two offense getting a little life against the ones. I think probably he doesn't want the number two offense to breathe. And if we're being honest, I don't know if that's I don't know if that's Beck being special. I mean, like sometimes the information we hear about scrimmages is usually delayed, so you don't hear about it day of necessarily. Sometimes you do. But was that about Carson playing really well against the ones? Nobody wants to be the number two with the number twos as a quarterback trying to deal with this defense. But Dwan Mathis dealt with it as a scout team guy the whole year last year, so he's probably comfortable with it to some degree. This defense is going to be the reason they either win or do not win the conference and the national championship. We've gotten to the point in college football where everyone is using the assumption that you have to win with offense. And I think right now it's hard to argue against that. But at the same time, things change. And it's usually relatively slow. But this Georgia defense is scary good. And what you don't want to start happening is what Kirby is talking about, which is complacency. Yeah, we're the best. Yeah, this, yeah, that. That's a problem. And I think that what you'd like to have is what he said earlier. The one offense dominated the two offense for the most part. They didn't give up a first down. That's what you want to hear. That's what you want to hear. And if you're Kirby, because he knows that this defense is the reason they're going to win it or not. I mean, I think it's that simple. And honestly, in this league, now Clemson is that's a different sort of animal because of the quarterback. But in the SEC, I mean, I'm not sure people are going to be scoring 40 points on Georgia this year. And Clemson probably wouldn't either. But this defense is built to where it can really be difficult for anyone to score against. And when you see Ohio State last year, you saw Clemson last year, and even Oklahoma, in conference play, a lot of times they're running up scores and numbers. But once you get down to sort of the top 5 to 8 teams, even Baylor and Georgia last year, those were both good defenses, and you saw which one was better. Georgia just ground them down by the time that game was over. The better teams in college football, if they're going to be successful, they have defenses. That's what Oklahoma's missing. That's not what Georgia's missing. And that's the key to me about all of this is, like, Richard LeCount, Monty Rice, Malik, Devontae Wyatt, guys that are not sort of superlatives, but they've been around the block for a while, they can't have off days. They can't get beat. Richard can't get beat deep. I'm not saying that was necessarily on him in Knoxville last year, but whatever happened there, that can't happen this season because it could cost you the national championship. I mean, it cost him the national championship in 2017, getting beat on a play that, Alabama was backed up and was in dire straits. And they basically threw up I wouldn't say it was a prayer, but they lost on one play. And one play can make all the difference in the world. All you got to do is Lindsey Scott prayer at Jordan-Hare, the play against Alabama at the end of the 2012 game, David Green to Michael Johnson. One play makes a huge difference. It doesn't matter if it's fourth down. So these guys, I do, people have a lot of good things to say about Carson Beck. That is true. But a true freshman with the number twos really shouldn't be dictating to this Georgia #1 defense what's going on. And they didn't. I mean, dictating is a strong word. But you want, Kirby says it. Again, there wasn't a lot of difference in the defense from this scrimmage to the last. I'm certainly concerned about the complacency there and making sure they are competing and staying on top of things because they have a chance to be a talented group. They're already a talented group. That's not an issue. They've got it everywhere. They're at the point in recruiting, Kirby and them, where they're not even having to recruit positions. They're kind of recruiting positions for positions, specialty situations. Walter Grant is not out there all four downs. He hasn't been. He's been a specialty guy, Adam Anderson. So this defense is loaded up, smooth to the brim, to the top. They're ready to party, and they're really good. But, complacency can creep in. I mean, people tell you how good you are, or you read what I say too much. These guys haven't done anything yet. This core group, they've not won the conference. They've not won the national championship. The guys that won the conference, Richard was on that team. He was about the only guy that played very much. So the rest of them weren't even here. And if these guys want to be special, they're going to have to go out and do it. And you got to do it all the time. And you can't sort of do it. Like, you can't take off a break, a drive during practice, because that will creep in to the rest of your play. It's got to be consistent. It's got to be all the time. Because the #2 Georgia offense, with probably Carson Beck at the helm, is not going to be the toughest thing you see. And you have to understand, you're going to give up drives in games. It's hard, it's hard to stone people for 4 quarters. But what did you do the next drive? Kirby, he's not just saying that. There's some truth to that. So let's see where this defense goes. They should be the best defense this year in the country, but that really shouldn't be their measuring stick. Their measuring stick should be, how good are they every play? Are they doing what they need to do every play? Can they change the game every play? Because if on any given play, because if they don't and they can't, they're not living up to their ability. These guys are as good as I've seen at Georgia. And Georgia's had good defenses. They've not had anything like this. This is turn of the decade Alabama. And let's see them do it. I think they can. And I think he's right to motivate them. All right, Dean Legge from Dog Post, making you a smarter Georgia fan. Make sure to click this playlist here. We're going to get you where you got to go for the 2020 season, which is right around the corner. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the playlist.